Okay, guys. Well, the hour is upon us. It looks like Lena, thank you so much for joining. Hey,
Hey.
good to see you again. Well, looks like we got a smaller group this time, but that's fun. Like small and quaint is always nice as well,
Feels
right?
more cozy like that.
Yeah, it's much more
Easy.
cozy, lot less pressure, I suppose, right? There you go. So hope everyone's doing good tonight. I really, really thank you for being here. It's really cool. Allison is here as well. You can see her picture on there. She's a little bit shy today, but she's been on this movement with us since day one. And so it's super cool to have her. We should have some people jumping in too, maybe a little bit later. So I had a couple of other people show interest in this call. So we'll see what happens. Anyhow, so first I want to start off by saying thank you so much for showing up. And speak a little bit about the practice of showing up. And I think maybe, Elena, you might have heard some of this from me back a year ago, but showing up is so important, just like you guys being here. Thank you so much for just taking the time to be here and showing up. That's all that's required. It's a big experiment, what we're doing right now. So it's super cool just to take the step, and showing up as anything, just getting to the yoga mat to make your practice happen, just going to the gym to make the gym happen, just starting one thing, and then it kind of goes after that. So showing up is really important. You guys are all leaders. Thank you for showing up on this call and being here with us. I really appreciate that. There's no, oh yeah, here's some lovely kids. Are those your kids, Beth? No.
No, it's my sister.
It's your
Sorry.
sister, Michal. Great, that's awesome. Well, intros to your sister to the group. That's awesome. And yeah, I also wanted to say we were going to intro some new people, but it looks like pretty much we're all here except for Allison that was new from last time. So welcome, Allison, again. I also wanted to turn this call over to some new leadership opportunities. Lena, you've actually been on our mind for this one for a while, actually, truly, because we do want to open this group up to more leadership opportunities for other people. Like, for you to lead a call if you'd like to. We'll coach you through it as well and give you the stuff, but just to have the opportunity to see what it's like to jump in the driver's seat like this and to get on a call and lead it and how you do all that. So we will talk about that in the group later and update people who are not on the call, obviously, for that. We also will be doing a survey after these calls, so people can kind of give us feedback and let us know what they need in the group, and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate to start doing in these calls, shorter, longer, all that stuff. And right now, I'd also like to give you guys some updates about SkyFarms, so you kind of know what we're doing, what we're working on, so you understand why you're coming on these calls and why you want to show up for these things. So obviously, the first thing is we're building community right now during this time. We're all at home and trying to figure out how to come together when we can't and we're stuck inside. And we're all going through a lot of things right now. Like I know I've spoken to many of you also going through many challenges, staying at home with the kids, being locked up inside when you're wanting to go outside and stuff. So it's challenging. So just thank you for trying to build this community with us. Driving engagement, connection, and just trying to figure out how we can become a stronger community for each other. We're also onboarding more sponsors right now. Excuse me. So we were going to do an ag lab in Amsterdam. That got canceled because of the coronavirus. And so we are still planning on doing that, but we're just gearing up on onboarding sponsors for that and bringing on some really cool partners, and we're working on that right now. We're also working on becoming a data-driven organization. This is where Naeem, he's on the call right now with us too, and he's helping us right now become more of a data-driven organization by getting these 1,000 more partners that we have right now and finding out insights by matching them together and figuring out where they fall on the spectrum of agriculture, because there's a spectrum. And we'll talk about that in further calls. So yeah, and last but not least, we're trying to let you know about the upcoming projects we have. We're working on a project in Warsaw again. So Lena, you'll probably see us at some point in the near future if we ever get out of our houses. And yeah, and we have also one coming up in Prague. So Komil as well, I hope he joins us for future calls. He is really driving some innovation in Prague with his space, and we're going to be doing a whole vertical farm there. So that's awesome. And yeah, so last but not least, we're going to cover today's topics and future topics, and I'm going to give it over to Michal, and Michal has a lovely presentation for us for that. So Michal, thank you.
Totally. Thank you, Sky. And yeah, welcome everybody. Just a quick question. Can you hear me well? And can you see the presentation right now? That's That's almost everybody could like reacted. So that's I'm counting as a green light. All right. So what I'm going to be talking about is where can we grow next and what sort of opportunities we as SkyFarms prepared for you in this time. And yeah, we're hoping on doing more like brick and mortar projects this spring and summer, but obviously the situation has changed a little bit. So we're gonna, move to more digital things, and I hope all of you can get activated in that and participate, I guess. All right, so these are the things I'm gonna be talking about. You can see them. Um, yeah, they have assigned numbers because later on we're gonna vote on which one is like the most intriguing, the most exciting for you, I guess. Yeah. So first of all, we're doing DIY projects, and uh, that's what I've been doing. If you could see it on the group, with my dad, we were digging some holes, filling it with new soil, nutrients, and some other yucky things.
Your dad's a handsome man.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. He's my man.
That's right.
So yeah, and we are gonna. I hope we're gonna discuss more of your projects. For example, on the last call, JC was sharing his own. Um, well, I think hydroponics installation. So yeah, so you can see it as a opportunity to ask the whole community of of uh, of people surrounding SkyFarms about some expertise, about some tips and tricks, hints about where to grow and how to grow with your own projects. And if there is a need for that, and if there is, please tell us. We can also discuss some DIY projects that will be, step by step explained, and so we can all
And we
learn
have
from
some
that. And
we have some on the page already. We actually have some people who are already asking for information. So we're hoping to populate the group with a little bit more of that. And I also know that JC, even though he's not on the call today, we miss him. He's putting together a DIY project specifically for us if anybody wants to try a hydroponics unit. I'm going to be building an ebb and flow system this week. So I have ordered some products online. They should arrive on Monday, and I will begin my lovely journey into the aquaponics realm next week. So we'll see how that works. And Lena, you've also expressed you want to get involved in some DIY stuff. So, what are you thinking about that?
I think that DIY would be the best, like for beginners like me, basically, because they're the easiest, and you don't really need like really expensive things to do that. So I think it would be the easiest way. Like I've only started, and I've started with planting an avocado tree. So that's like really the total beginning, but I hope it will grow into something good.
Where is it? Where's the avocados are awesome.
Uh,
They take forever. Is it in the room somewhere or no?
yeah, I can show you, but I've only
Yay.
just planted it, and it's
Cool.
like it's in the water.
Avocados are,
But
yeah, that's how you do it right there.
yes, but it's here and it started growing, so I'm waiting,
Great,
and I hope
great.
it will become.
Yay, that's awesome. They're
so
really beautiful in the beginning too. They shoot up. And have you seen, Beth, avocado trees like in the beginning? Yeah, they're super special.
totally, totally.
So, all right,
Uh,
Michal, back to you.
yeah, I just realized that I have a small hydroponic system that
You
I built
do.
last
You have that
summer.
bucket.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I can even show you guys right now. Wait a second.
Yeah. So Michal built a bucket hydroponic system, and yeah, that's it right there. So it can be as basic as that, Lena. You see? Oh, it's even in Polish. I love it. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, guys,
So
I needed to add some descriptions so my family knows that it's not supposed to be watered. It's not
don't
supposed to
touch
be.
it. Don't stay
Yeah,
away. Right. Beth, how do you
basic.
guys manage your plants with a family of 3 running around? How do you protect those little guys that you showed us on the site today? Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you. Okay,
Unmute me.
unmute
Hello.
you. I think you can unmute yourself, I think.
Maybe I can. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so passive.
It's okay. Kimberly, I think Kimberly's in the call now. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kimberly. Oh, so good that you're on the call. Yay. We're actually just talking to Beth right now. She's a fellow Michigander.
Yeah, West Coast.
West Coast.
Well, oh, awesome. Very cool. I'm in Detroit.
We're like almost neighbors.
Yeah, it's
Very
just a couple hundred miles in between us or something like that.
Yeah. Kimberly, thanks for joining us on the call. We're just going right now through, Michał is giving us a little presentation. Our group is a bit smaller this time. It seems like some people couldn't join us, but they also will be able to see this recording. So Michał, you take it away with our DIY projects. We're starting with this week. And then next, so future goals,
Yeah, so we're gonna also talk about it later on this call about our DIY projects. I might share some things from mine, and Sky might talk about what he's planning on doing. And I hope you guys can also bring in some ideas, or maybe we can talk more about Lena's project or whatever. Yeah, so that's DIY. We were preparing Egg Labs, so this is sort of a way of presenting information about agriculture and all the well, branches of it, and how you can really do something with it, because there's so much information regarding agriculture. And with these Egg Labs, which were supposed to be sort of like a pop-up stores somewhere, you can go there and be a part of our workshop. You can learn with us, and we're thinking of doing this digitally here with you, so you can take this with you as for example, a presentation and present it somewhere, and yeah, just pass the knowledge on, I guess. So that will be the second one. We have our Smart Ag methodology that we were using for informal learning. For example, with Lena, she was there on our workshop in Warsaw. Just to give you a quick overview, SMART in this case stands for sustainability, mobility, access, resources, and technology in agriculture. So we're using these principles to present, well, basically sustainability, and areas around that. We have our AgLuminaries, which are experts that agreed to be a part of this community and share their expertise with us.
Kimberly is one of
So
them. She's on the call right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we're super happy.
Yay.
She's from Eden Gives, and Kimberly, we'll give you a second to talk about that too. And again, thank you so much for being here. She's one of our leading edge experts doing some incredible things in Detroit. So yeah.
Totally.
Cool. Just let me know when you want whatever you want from me, and I'll give it to you.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for this approach. That's really what this community needs. And yeah, thank you for being with us. It's awesome. And yeah, we would also like to present you some of well, social enterprise mindsets. So we would talk about how can you think about business in a new way, in a more sustainable way, and yeah, how you can also take an active part of our leadership opportunities, which we also said a little bit about in the beginning. So we count on the youth, but not only. If you just want to, take a part in our webinars, for example, and lead some parts about whatever concerns you, it's really that would be awesome to see that. So yeah, you can see this whole spectrum of it right now. And if you can use chat to write the number that you think is the most intriguing for you, or the most important, or you're the most interested in it.
So do you guys know how to use chat on the side here? You just open your chat up, and then you can just type whichever number you think you would be most interested in hearing from, and those things. Yeah. So I definitely am going to go with. It's a voting challenge. Yay. Cool. Great. Well, that was fast. Kimberly, yes. No, Allison, are you okay? Allison, yes, I see. See, I'm still getting used to Zoom. I told you.
Okay, so wait, what was the question?
The question is, we have these 5 different topics that we're going to be bringing up on future calls as ways to connect. So which one seems the most interesting to you, you know, out of everything that was explained? Ta-da! Yes. And this is much more intimate this week, right? I mean, it was last week we had 15 people on the call. It was hard to manage everyone. It's such an intimate call today. I love this.
Let's sing today. This
Yeah,
is the day for singing.
Should prepare. And we also, when we talk about informal learning, this is a specific type of education where we kind of gamify education. So these calls are not necessarily going to be lectures. We're also, like we said, we're giving leadership opportunities to different people. So other people will be leading. So we'll be able to see different people than just you and me, Mihao, right? For instance. And also playing games. Like we play a lot of fun, really cool interactive games that we can do together. And we have those lined up for you in future calls. So that's what we're really working on as well.
Okay. Can you guys hear and see me, or can you just not see me and hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can't see you.
We can see you.
How
I mean,
do
we can see you, but
So when you go on your screen, I think hit video. It's next to your mute button on the left-hand corner, bottom corner, I believe. Is it the same for everybody?
Like if you go down to the bottom, a bar will come up, should pop up. And then the bottom left, it says start video.
Okay.
Video camera daily on it.
Anyhow.
Oh, here we go.
You got it?
I got it, but I'm clicking it, but it's like not working for me.
That's interesting. Oh, maybe the camera's not connected to your Zoom yet. That could be a problem as well.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
You'll get it next time. Yeah, we would, like last call, we were a hot disaster mess. Beth had to lead us through the Zoom call, basically. Oh, anyhow, well, so yeah, so that's basically, we got the voting in. We'll find out which we want to start with. But this week, like we said, we're doing DIY, and we're really sharing our DIY projects with people. So a lot of people who are doing DIY are not on the call right now, so we really don't have a lot to talk about there. But if you stay, tuned on the Facebook page, you'll see some of these things popping up. And Lena, like, I would encourage you to put your avocado tree on there. No project's too small, and I think that's what we're really trying to encourage here too, is that like even just planting a seed right now could be really important, just to nurture through this time and show the community that we're coming together by doing something. So yeah, it's one small thing, but like a lot of us also have some bigger projects. I'm putting together like I said, ebb and flow system. I'm going to need a lot of help on that. So yeah, let's see what happens with JC, how much I get tutored on that little system. And yeah, so
I actually have a question for our experts and people. I don't know if you've seen my my garden, I should say, that I've started. It's a regular soil one, and I was thinking if I could, because I really want to do something more into like hydroponics, something, or can I build something on top of that? And do you have any ideas about what could I build on top of the garden?
Kimberly, this is
Kimberly,
why don't you,
Beth?
That's
Lena,
totally my. I haven't seen it done that way. That doesn't mean it can't be done that way. One of the things that you would need to do, though, likely with a hydroponic system, is you would need to have some sort of cover over the top of it. So that could look like like a canvas type, or not canvas, but like a plastic type thing. Like if you put a structure up that even with PCV pipe or some sort of pipe, that was inexpensive, and then put a tarp over the top of it, that would probably handle what you need. The thing you want to avoid is, in a garden, you want birds and any other animal that traipses through there to do their poop in there. Like, it helps the soil, it enriches it. The exact opposite is true with hydroponic. So you don't want animals to be able to do anything with the water. The water, if your water gets contaminated, you're screwed. You're throwing everything away. So that's the only thing that to be concerned about in going straight outdoors, if you're not putting a greenhouse structure up, which you wouldn't want to do if you've got produce growing. You need the sun to actually be there for you full. Well, I guess you could do a greenhouse. You could do a greenhouse probably over it, but you're not. That's more expense. So I don't. It kind of depends on what you want to do.
The full
But
spectrum.
the water's it's different from soil when it comes to how it could get contaminated. So you always have to think about that with hydro growing, and you have to monitor the water really, really well too.
Yeah,
Great.
but do you have like an idea how could I, maybe not a hydroponic system per se, but bringing some, I don't know, some closed system to it. So I don't know, it would, I don't know, gather water from rain, for example, and sprinkle it all over the garden. I don't know, just
Oh,
looking
you
for,
definitely
you know,
can do
I'm never
that.
satisfied with.
You put a catchment system in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
a
do
water
that.
catchment system is actually pretty easy to do.
Mhm.
The only thing, I don't know where you're living right now exactly and what the city requirements are, but that's a pretty easy system to do. It's just a matter of getting a container. And here in the States, those you can get those from any store that sells farm supplies has these, because farms use them. Land farm users use them all the time, and they use them for different things. But you just get that container. It's usually made of a really thick plastic, and you can set it high off the ground if you need to, or it can sit on the ground if you need it to, and it'll catch water for you. And then you just put a hose in the bottom. There's usually an opening in the bottom that you can connect a regular old garden hose to, and you can run water out of that right into your garden in whatever way works for you. So that's definitely something you can do. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm writing it down right now. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
I
I
don't
also
know
started compost.
where are you at in this world? What country are you in?
It's Poland, Warsaw,
Poland.
and technically it's a village on the border of Warsaw. So I guess I'm a pirate. If you know the cities are closed right now, I
Yeah.
can do whatever I want.
So I don't know if you know, if I were you, I'd just look for a store that sells farming supplies. You know, so if there's, I don't know how those are built into your society there, but most of the time ours are more in rural areas, so they're in outlying areas, not necessarily in city centers, but they carry everything that a land farmer needs to grow with, usually on a fairly large scale, and they have all different sizes of them. So there's going to be one you can put in your backyard.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Kimberly.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Lena, this is a nice time to ask questions. It's look what a great answer I've got.
That was awesome. Also, Beth, I think Beth, you might have something to say about that too, because you guys have, I mean, Beth has been living. You tell it, yeah. You explain yourself.
Yeah, okay. Explain yourself.
Justify
I don't have to do it for you.
Well, I mean, you can if you want to. You've seen it, but so we have water catchment. They're like 50-gallon drums. We got them for like $5 from some supply place. It wasn't like a farm store, anyway. But we have 2, 4, 6 of them, and they're just situated at different points around our house. So the way it works is they're situated underneath the gutters, so then the water just runs right into the drums, and there's a filter on the top to keep all the big stuff out. And then like Kimberly was saying, we just have a regular hose that's attached to the bottom, and we just use the water wherever we want to in the garden. So it's not complicated. It wasn't hard to build. I think Dan made like a frame for them to sit in, but it's just 2x4s knocked together. I mean, it wasn't anything complicated. So, and it wasn't expensive.
Yeah, I think everyone should have rain catchment for sure.
We're cheap.
If you have a house.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Sounds so sustainable, right? But my question is, for example, because the idea is that it will catch water, so I can use it in the times of like droughts, for example, right? Or just the times when it's not a lot of rain. So how long does the water can stay in this container before it gets, for example, contaminated or mixed up with like bird boo-boo?
Business. Ours, it's just, we never this is maybe bad, I don't know, but we don't clean it out because we don't use it for like a closed, like we don't use it for hydroponics or something. It's not clean enough for that, but it's fine to just be redistributed in a garden. I hope so.
The soil acts as a pretty good medium to filter things. That's what it's designed for. So obviously, you want to keep.
I mean, you wouldn't want to use it for your own use, like for drinking or an emergency. You wouldn't use that, but you could use it for your garden.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're likely
I will
with water catchment, you're more likely to run out of water anyway, especially if you're in growing season, because you're going to be watering every day, every other day, something like that. And it doesn't really rain enough that you would be able to just water your garden from rainwater, unless you have a really big catchment container and a really small garden, then it might work.
Earthships have solved that problem. Earthships are really great. Michael Reynolds' design. He has a huge water basin as the central figure, and I think Buckminster Fuller also talked a lot about this too. Is like the water catchment system should be like as twice the size of the house, or there should be some submerged water tanks that are collecting the water. You should have a lot on hand if you can build a bigger catchment thing, I imagine, if you want to be fully self-sustainable structure.
Maybe if you had a very intentional watering system, like I'm trying to imagine something in my head, where it was like a drip irrigation that was just allocating water in very small amounts. But that I've never tried that, so I don't know.
Allison, are you still on the call?
I'm still here. I'm just playing.
Oh, you're great. You're great. I just wanted to ask you a question really quickly. So what's because you've been on this journey for so long, and have you done any farming ever of any kind?
No.
No, it's totally fine. It's all good.
Awesome. Right.
But what about have you ever planted a seed ever?
I've gardened a little bit.
Okay, cool. So you know about the joy of all that.
I actually harvested my own aloe plant, which I'm very proud of. So.
Hey, that's cool. By grafting, or how did you do it? Just in the water?
Well, I bought it from Home. I bought it from Home Depot.
Okay.
And I just planted it. So maybe I didn't do it myself. So.
That's okay. But if you have anything that you want to if you're tinkering with ideas, also this is one thing that we want to extend to the group. Look stuff up. Just Google DIY projects, get lost in some fun thing. I mean, we have time while we're in this lockdown. I don't know how long that's going to last. They're telling us until June. So I'm just trying to prepare us to really encourage, especially people who've never tried any of this stuff, to just.
Oh, I can show you something cool about that. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, I was pretty much finished. But Allison, you get my gist, right?
Yes.
We'd love to get somebody specifically with someone as novice as you with gardening, farming, I guess, to try a project. That would be a big win-win for us. That would be a really good transformation, like a makeover in a way.
Well, it would be good for me because I would be able to learn as well. So
yeah, and we could test our methods out and see if our community collaborating skills are actually working. So we can talk about that later.
Yeah, and for example, here's something that you could do probably straight away. It's not really hard. I don't know if it's complicated enough to call it a DIY project, but here you have some sprouting seeds.
Hey!
Right.
And it's
nice.
Cocoa flower and some cabbage and an onion, I think, but it's never sprouts. I don't know. I cannot get this onion to sprout. This is the black thing here. It's never sprouting.
Onions are really hard to do from seed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's
but it's
eating them.
I always cheated with onions. I would buy the little tiny bulbs and plant those. I never planted onion
from seed
because it's a art almost to do that. So
the germination process is difficult.
Well, there's
but on the other hand,
sorry, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to say that cocoa flower is super easy to do, and it always sprouts. And it's you already have to try hard not to make it sprout. So if you're looking for an easy project, just buy cocoa flower seeds, put it on some, you can use root wool, or as I did here, a toilet paper, basically. I know in this time it's not the most efficient thing to use. But
I'm just kidding.
That's a 4-letter word right there, TP.
Yeah.
So,
but I hope it's going to be delicious anyway.
In my area, it's difficult to kind of grow things because we don't get a lot of rain. and it's unpredictable as well because I'm in Sarasota, Florida. So it's right now it's like 85 degrees and sunny, and typically it's like that every day.
So that would be the challenge then. We would present this as the challenge of like, what do we do with a person who's in Sarasota who has, you know, very little experience? How do we get this project growing? You have space, I imagine, somewhere though, right? In your home or community?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Cool.
the thing is, I'm not allowed to plant on my area, on my grounds because I don't own them. I'm a
Right.
renter, you know.
Yeah.
But I have like flower pots and stuff.
Yeah, and maybe the possibility of growing something indoors, you know, could be interesting as well, because then you can have a little bit more of a controlled environment. So, yeah, let's talk about. We're going to talk about that later for sure. It'll be really fun. I think this will be a good.
I also have a lanai, so it's, you know, it gets sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can discuss later.
Cool. Great. Awesome. Kimberly, I would like to turn this time over to you if you'd like, just to share with us with our lovely intimate conversation here, and also for the folks who will watch later, what you're up to, because you're up to some awesome things, and I'm just so pleased to be working with you. It's really an honor.
Likewise, I am super excited about working with you too, Sky. This has been like us discovering each other in the way that we have online, and getting connected at this point has been really, really helpful, I know, for me, and I think it has been for you too. So I'll just do like a little condensed backstory of how I got to where I am, and then share with you the project we're working on now. Does that work, Sky?
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, cool. So 15 years ago, I was in the pastorate in the suburbs of Detroit, and ended up going to South America, to Peru, on multiple trips. And while I was there on one trip, I had kind of a aha moment where I realized that we were doing these trips, coming down, doing really good work. And especially on that trip, we had done 3 events in 3 local parks in Lima, where we had fed about 1,000 people lunch in a city park in partnership with some pastors we were working with there. But my aha moment came as I was in the 3rd event, and realized that I lived in the suburbs of Detroit, where there were children who were very hungry every day, and I had done nothing in 12 years in the pastorate at that point, had done nothing to help them. But we were going to South America to help kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, did not make sense to me on any level. So I came back, and within 3 months, I built a partnership with Trader Joe's, which for those of us who live in the States we're real familiar. This is America's favorite grocery store right now. And
Awesome.
so we now do 11 distributions a week. We pick up 11 times from 4 different Trader Joe's stores, and we take the food that they donate every day and push it out into the community. And right now, we are building some additional partnerships because in Detroit, where we've been on lockdown now for about little over 2 weeks here, our families need us more than ever. The Detroit Public Schools closed about 3 weeks ago. And the majority of the children that go to school there only eat meals at school. And so when school's out in the summertime, there's a program that the school system runs where kids can get access to food in their own neighborhoods to get a lunch. And it's basically a lunch and a snack. It's really not 2 meals. And the kids rely on those programs to eat. So we stepped up to the plate, and we've started distributing more food into the community. We built some more partnerships, and right now we did a week ago, last Thursday, we did a day where we did 400 bags of food, which is crazy for us. It's a crazy number for us. We usually do around 50 bags on a day, and we did 400 yesterday. Let's see what's today, Saturday, Thursday of this past week we did 300 bags, pushing those out to schools to help get some kids, get some food in some children's homes. All of that's happening while simultaneously at these schools, an educator died of COVID this past week.
Oh,
A
no.
mom of 3 children died of COVID. These are people under 40 years old that are dying from COVID. So we will become, our governor has been talking to a lot of the people like me who are doing things like I do in the state. And our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, who our president last week was very disrespectful to publicly on TV, actually is doing a slam bang wonderful job. We're so proud of her, and she's trying to protect us all. She's been talking to us about the fact that we could be very much in the place where New York is, with less numbers, only because we have a less populated state, with Detroit being a city that's going to have problems like the likes of New York.
I've been reading it all too, and I'm really like concerned because also Beth is living in Michigan too, and I think Michigan will be the biggest hit state after New York or something is what they're projecting.
Yeah, it's like Detroit, Chicago, and New Orleans are all 3 cities to watch in this next wave. So we're doing everything we can to bring more food in so that we can get more food out into the community. And so it's been super, super busy time. My team has just done amazingly well. We've had so many partners come to the plate to give us supplies. If you go on our Instagram and Facebook, you'll see that we have a person who is making masks for us so that we each have our own mask that's washable that we can re-wear, and we're the only one wearing it. So there's lots of people like Carrie Brooks that are stepping up to help us. And Carrie's going to end up sewing us close to 100 masks because that's how many we need to cover our team volunteers. So all that's happening. And as the nonprofit began to grow, and I moved into the city a decade ago because the people we were feeding were saying that they didn't have access to produce, which I could not comprehend, that there were communities in the United States of America, given what I knew about food systems, that did not have access to produce. But I moved into the city and I found out they were actually telling the truth. And it was a ridiculously stupid problem.
Richest country in the world can't take care of its own people. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah. That was some other pretty words came out of my mouth too.
I'm sure when you're an activist.
What the over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And but as I lived in the community, I've lived here for the past decade now, and I've lived in about 4 different areas of the city by choice so that I could get a handle on why the system, what was wrong, what was messed up, and talked to tons of people in the process, many pastors, many churches, because that's like, I had a lot of those relationships built already, so that was where I went. And since then we've begun talking on a city level and government level to about food system change. And so we're really moving in that direction of how do we create a food ecosystem that's just and equitable, which means everyone eats and everyone has access.
Yeah.
So the farming came in through that channel, and I looked at Michigan and said, look, we're in a state that's a zone 5 state, which means most of the year we can't grow produce. So we have to look at hydroponic growing.
Yep.
I launched a hydroponic vertical farm with $1.5 million of investment through a single investor in August of 2018. That farm's called Planted. It's doing really, really well. I left that farm in August of 2019 because it was doing well, and because my partner wanted to focus that business in a certain direction, and he had invested all that money. So I wanted him to be able to do that. I was more focused on the community. Yeah. And so I'm starting another farm now, greenhouse hydroponic farm with AmHydro. You guys can check out AmHydro online. Joe Swartz at AmHydro is a dear friend of mine. Brought him into this group of wonderful people that Sky's putting together. So we're
putting together, the whole community's putting us together is what's going on.
That's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
But I decided that I began again through conversations with pastors and business owners and people who live in the community where we're putting the farm. It's on the farm will be on the Lower East Side of Detroit, in an area of Detroit that's not slated to be redeveloped for a very long time. And so we're taking a block maybe 3 blocks of one road and putting the farm there, but we're also going to do community development that has us putting in affordable housing. So when we have 60 to 100 farmhands living there working, they can actually live in the community and walk to work. We're going to put in a retail strip that has a market, a barber shop, a beauty shop, a restaurant, a coffee shop, and whatever else the community wants, so that we create this walkable community in an area where the people who live there now feel like everybody's forsaken them. Like nobody cares about redeveloping their community.
Yeah, because you're working with so many underprivileged people, I imagine. So
exactly. This Island View is the name of the community where the farm will be, and it's very interesting dynamic where we are, because I live in West Village, and just east of my village is Indian Village. Indian Village holds one of the most wealthy communities. These are minimally $500,000 up to $3 million homes that are a block away from my house. Island View is 6 blocks west of my house, and it's completely devastated.
Yeah.
And to the east of Indian Village, completely devastated. And to the north, completely devastated. So
and how many communities like that? I mean, I also was in Warsaw, and there are also places all over the world. Every city, every place, they have these neighboring hoods, rich, poor, people who are underprivileged.
Yes.
So it's a problem, I think, that agriculture really can solve globally too. You know, it's in your backyard, and you're addressing it in your backyard, which is like such a good inspiration for us. And if we can use this model to take it forward into every community, because we do have so many people in our community from, like last call, Sadak was talking about Morocco, and there's a lot of people who don't even know how to get started, and they're living in those impoverished communities, right? So
yes.
I think getting these people organized like you're doing right now is amazing. I think the power of community, obviously you've demonstrated that you can make all these projects happen and get all this movement going and save lives with food. But we also have to find a way to get a lot of this information into the layperson's hands, so that it doesn't have to be like, the heroes leading the journey. It should be the people leading the journey, I think, a little bit right now.
I agree with that. And I think that the thing that's cool about hydro technology is it just gives us more options.
Totally.
And it can be scaled way down or way up, and everything in the middle. And it brings our food closer to where it's going to be consumed, which helps us all for our food to be grown and eaten in the same community. Mm-hmm. So now we have the technology to do that. Now we get to be creative.
Yeah.
In creating the systems that work for us, not having in the United States, I can't speak for other countries, but in the States, our government basically, even though produce is big business, it's definitely an industry, but the government has set the system in place that we have that is now in terrible disarray. It doesn't work for everybody.
That's
By
correct.
decentralizing the growing of food, bringing it right back down, we can grow year round now, anywhere,
mm-hmm.
and we can scale it way up or way down, whatever we need.
And
it gives us
entry points of all kinds. You have entry points from expertise to novice. So I hope this is something that we can demonstrate together too, as we push forward on this and create a different kind of community, because you've done such a great job with that, Kimberly. So we're definitely looking forward to your community skills and building community. I'm definitely trying to do what I can over here to put people together and get them just started on easy things right now while we're trapped, mm-hmm. but looking forward to doing bigger and scaling it up to people who want to do their own businesses, hopefully, or even hydroponics. Something that came up last time was really interesting, and I think you're touching on this a little bit, Kimberly, too, is that the produce is big business. And what I've run into with SkyFarms, and also Mikhail's run into, is that we are trying to figure out, that's you, Mikhail, we're trying to figure out the difference between, like, should we become, a profitable company, or are we going to be just sincerely just doing community work in agriculture and doing that? Because it's, and there was some topic conversation about this last time. JC was talking about how he really was thinking that the only way to really achieve this movement is not through capitalization, so it's interesting. Just, you got to build community, and I don't know you can't really make money off of that. It's like the currency is exchanged between each other and exchange with nature. And I think those are the things that we have to start to value over profitability as like a central core part of our culture and our being human.
I totally agree with what you're saying. And I think part of the reason why our food system doesn't work is that it's been capitalized on, and with no regard for the effect that it's creating on the environment or people. But what I know is possible, so let's munch on this in our brains together collectively. The thing that hydroponic technology allows us to do is to grow more produce in a smaller space and to grow it year round. So I can share numbers with you later, but let me just say that the numbers, if you just think that through, the numbers of how much you can produce are drastically different than in ground. I think there's a way to do both. There's a way to be, and that's why I think bringing food back into the community where groups of people can come together as a collective and creatively use all types of growing to grow produce for their community that they sell into their community. But just to give you an example, for instance, herbs sell, basil sells for anywhere between $28 to $36 a pound for basil in the United States. Greens sell most of the time at around $12 a pound. You can, if you're selling to a chef who's asked you to do a specialty item, they will pay up to 32 pounds for that too, but generally not. So there's this huge gap. You can make a whole lot more selling basil. It's possible. It's possible for a collective of farms to come together and agree that they're going to grow half of what they are growing at their farms to grow a basil product to sell on a larger scale, make a whole lot of money on that.
Oh, I love that. Like collaborative farming practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can sell whatever else you want, and even some of the basil. You can take that and sell it, at a lesser cost to people who need it to be at a lesser cost or smaller amounts, so that they can pay less for it. And then you can grow a bunch of stuff that you just sell at the rate that makes sense for people in your community who are struggling. So I think, and that's just one idea. I think there's many ideas. Like once we get farther into this process, we can really, I use the word food sovereignty a lot. Food sovereignty, creating food sovereignty for a community so that the people in the community come together and say, we're collectively going to grow this and do your numbers so that you make a profit, like make money, and then do good with your money in ways that make sense for your community. And it's still the community making this decision about that. So I really think that's where we're going to go. Yeah. I see a lot of people interested in that. So.
I do too. I see a lot of investors. That's a great thought, Kimberly. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I really appreciate it. And I think just as another note to that is that there are so many non-monetary benefits, which I love to cover in business plans with investors, because, at the end of the day, if you invest in a product like, a computer, it goes bad and goes old and whatever. If you invest in a garden, it's like feeding people, educating people. You have more food in the community, the investment has so many non-monetary benefits that it's like, it would be stupid. It's a win-win basically is what I think that's what that is.
And it's renewable. This is the best. This is the business. Everybody eats every day. What investor's not interested in that?
Whether you're in coronavirus or war, you got to eat food.
Every human being walking the planet eats every day. So this is a renewable product, and it's there's never going to not be a need for it,
That's very
we
true.
We don't use desktop computers from the 90s anymore. Those have left us, right? We're still eating the lettuce we ate during the time we were eating our salad in front of that old desktop computer.
That's very true. That's
still
very true.
happening.
Upgrades are coming and we're bringing them to you. So thank you so much for that, Kimberly. And it looks like David joined the call here, and welcome, David. Thanks for coming on. I think we're going to be finishing up soon though, but Mikhail, do you have anything else you want to say or lead us in at this time? Or if anybody else wants to chime in, Lena, if you have any questions, like Mikhail said, this would be a really good time to chime in.
Yeah, I just wanted, before you do that, I just wanted to thank Kimberly, because this what you said right now inspired me so much, and I already started thinking about like solutions, what we can do, and yeah, if we could share more things about that later on, that would be super cool. Hey, David.
Sure, absolutely.
We can see your
Yeah.
beautiful day face, David. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta unmute you. Hold on. Can you unmute yourself? Check it if you can. Because if not, then I know that I'm in charge of unmuting everybody, which gives me a lot of power. You don't want that, guys. There you go.
Okay.
David, hey man,
Hey,
how are
yeah.
you?
Good. I'm so sorry for the late login. I was just eating and time went by and I just realized, damn it, it's like already 8:40.
It's not even a problem. We had a very intimate call today. I think just, this might be hitting a lot of us all after 2 weeks, and many of us are, feeling all kinds of stuff. The intention here is, of course, to just show up. Like I said in the beginning of this call, to show up is really important, and you guys are all showing up. So that's what's really, really means so much to me, and also everybody else here, that we stand for each other in this time and be there for each other. So yeah. Lena, any questions or none? You can also tell me to go and take a
Not
hike.
really right now. Nothing coming up to my mind.
Perfect. And if you have anything, of course, you can ask anyone in the group.
Sure.
And all that good stuff. Beth?
I think this is a great time for us to start really digging into something like this, because we are all at home. We're all dealing with this in a different way. And this is one thing, we can't control probably most of what's happening outside of our house, but this is something we can have a little control over. We can make a little garden. We can, help our community in this way. We can help our neighbors. I just think that this is a positive thing for our mental health at this time.
At this time,
We
yeah.
can use
just
our.
for now.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Miko? Get in there.
No, I just wanted to say that we can use our tears to water our gardens, but I guess it's
Saltwater tears. Yes, exactly.
salt water. Is it sustainable?
Actually, there's like science that backs that up. I mean, plants
Really?
have, yeah. So
Wow.
there's plants are living things, and when we work with living things, there's something in our bodies biologically that understands that we're nurturing it, that we're helping it grow, and then our bodies respond to that very favorably. It's really interesting. I work with I shouldn't say I work. I know of an organization here in Detroit, and I've talked to the guy that started it, Gary Wozniak, and he does some growing too. His farm's called Recovery Park, and they take returning citizens here in the States when they come out of the prison system, and give them work to do. And the guys that work at Recovery Park have a very high rate of not reoffending. And they've done a study there, and part of what they uncovered was that for them to come into an environment where they're bringing something to life and nurturing it actually plays a really big part in their recovery. So there is something to be said for doing life-giving type of activities in a time like this, when everything else is so chaotic and we have no control. To watch a plant live while we're feeding it is a good thing. Feel good thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Let's
that.
grow.
Thank you.
Thanks for turning this little joke into something pragmatic.
It's so true. It's so true. But that was it touched my heart so much what you said right now. Because I'm watching my seedlings grow right now, and I get up every day so excited. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do today? Look at my plants. Look at how beautiful they are. I put the seeds in there, and it's just such a fun thing to do. You turn into a kid again too, which I think it also somehow gets us really in touch with things that are really meaningful, being with each other and being a little kid again, yay, something's growing, how fun. So it's cool. Yeah. David, what are you growing right now? That's what I want to know. Are you growing anything in what's your space like there? Because I know you're in university at Hamburg.
Yeah, but I'm reading in a student dorm at this moment. I mean, basically, I just get a room.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a place where I could actually grow things, but as I told, my experience in growing plants is basically the school experience that we all grew up this bean in 3rd grade, and that's it.
So how about this? Because Allison also has not really done much with her space either. So we're trying to figure out how to get people and encourage them just to grow right now with whatever they have. So how about
Yes.
just posting a space? Allison, this is also for you. If you come up with an idea in your house, you have no idea where to start, or your dorm or whatever, just show us the space online and tell us, like, I want to start growing. What should I do? And we'll populate some responses for sure, and we'll start leading you particularly to the resources you need. We'll walk you hand by hand if we have to.
Okay.
Perfect.
Space,
yeah.
so I know exactly where anyway.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. So if you could just like take a picture, post that in the group with a little like introduction maybe, and like, yeah, I'm really eager to grow with you guys. That would help. It's also going to help demonstrate this concept, which is that we're really trying to bridge the gap between the person who has no interest in growing at all, and maybe just because they don't have the space, or they don't have the time or know-how, or they don't have the community to support them and push them and say, like working out, like, let's go to the gym, now let's go to the farm. So, you know, that's what we're trying to bring here together with this whole initiative.
Great,
Okay.
great.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I think it's almost been an hour. We have 5 minutes left. We scheduled about an hour for this call, and we voted earlier on some of the things that Michał presented to us. I think we should put that, Michał, if you agree, online, so we can get some more feedback from everybody that wasn't on the call. And then we can get a pretty good idea of what next week's call will look like and what we're going to cover. So it looked like this week became our AgLuminary session. It was like a DIY session featuring Kimberly, which became really awesome. So that's what our AgLuminary sessions will look like. We'll bring in an expert like Kimberly. They'll share with us their tremendous value of inspiration and expertise and experience, which Kimberly did for us today so beautifully, and helping us all become leaders and activated in this movement right now. So yeah, anybody else?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. That has been amazing. And yeah, whatever, if there's like 15 people, 5 people, it still feels like we're doing something, you know, we're connecting, which we cannot do differently right now. And that's really warming up my heart. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. And Lena, I look forward to seeing your little avocado plant on the Facebook group. Show us how it's done.
Nice.
All right, guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, we'll see you guys all back maybe next week, and also online and on the group. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Stay safe, be well, and thank you for being leaders, guys.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.